Hey there guys, it's Kim George here from YourChicGeek.com, and I want to welcome you to a brand spanking new video. I first off want to say thank you so much for all of you that have been rocking with me. You are far too kind, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed the content. So today's video is going to be an audio version, basically, of the video, and I just wanted to talk through some of the 10 biggest lessons that I've learned in 2025. And because I was checking my KDP royalties and I noticed that I crossed the 200K mark in publishing, which is freaking insane, guys. It is insane. And so I just wanted to talk through, again, some of the 10 biggest lessons that I've learned in 2025 as a publisher. And then, just kind of, yeah, go through those lessons and just share that with you guys and all of that good stuff. So before we dive in, I would love for you guys to please like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff, as it helps to push the videos through the YouTube algorithm. Now, for those of you who are looking for ideas on books to publish, I have a link below to a free swipe file that you can get that has a list of ideas. And then I also have some additional resources like the Self-Publishers Vault, which is some templates that you can use to get started with publishing, and so on and so forth. Okay, but all that is going to be linked below. But let's get off into this video. So again, I was checking my royalties, and here is basically a little screenshot here of the royalties as of late, and I was really truly blown away from this. And in checking those royalties, I just could not believe that I had crossed the 200K mark. And so in 2025, there was a lot that went well. There were some things that didn't go as well, but there was definitely a lot that went well. And I just want to talk about some of the biggest lessons, though, that I've learned in this business as a publisher, and just share those with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get off into lesson number one, which is it is okay to pivot. So 2025 was definitely a year that I gave myself permission to pivot. Okay. I decided that it was time to step away from lower content books. And I recently did a video talking about that I'm no longer going to be doing publishing low content books just because of the algorithm and things that I've seen. But I lean more into publishing the medium content books. So these are things like puzzle books, activity books. And I have to say that made a huge difference in my royalties, especially for Q4. For these types of books, the medium content books, they do have more perceived value, and you can definitely price them higher. And you can do this for lower content books as well, depending on the type of lower content book that you can do or that you publish. But I did notice that, with medium content books, that I was able to build a great brand around those types of books, and I was able to position them stronger. Okay. And so just know that pivoting does not mean that you failed. It just means that you are responding to the things that are happening around you and in your business. You're taking notice of certain things and you are adjusting accordingly. All right. So that is lesson number one for me, is that it is okay to pivot when necessary. All right. So lesson number two is taking breaks is necessary, fam. Listen, I can tend to be a workaholic, and I have to give a shout out to my significant other for this, because he'll always tap me and pull me to the side and say, "Girl, listen, babe, you gotta step away. You gotta step away for a bit. You are overworking yourself and all of that good stuff, and it's just not good." Okay, so I used to think that consistency meant just going full go, 100, all gas, no breaks. And that's just not the case. And so what I learned is that burnout is definitely going to kill your momentum faster than breaks ever will. And so you definitely need to take time for yourself. Go touch some grass, go to the park, go take a walk, whatever you can do. Step away from your office and give yourself much needed breaks, because when you take breaks, you come back with more clearer thoughts and you come back with a better strategy and better execution plan for your business. So rest is necessary and taking breaks is necessary. All right. So please do yourself a favor. Take as many breaks as you need to in this business. Lesson number three is comparison is the thief of joy. It is so easy, guys, to look at what you see other people posting, what you see other people doing. And it's okay to be inspired by those things. But sometimes, and we're all human, right? We see that other people are doing really well in the business and making more, all these other things. But what we don't see is what is on the other side of that. We don't see the grind. We don't see the frustration, the tears, the wanting to quit, the investments that are made. We don't see all of those things. We don't see the failures. We see the highlight reels sometimes of other people's businesses. And so one thing that I have to learn, and I still have to do to this day, is to know that Everybody's journey is going to look different. My journey is going to look different from your journey. It's going to look different from another person's journey, and so on and so forth. And so, again, it is okay to be inspired, but don't put yourself in the trick bag of comparing yourself to other people. It's just going to leave you, uninspired and not able to move forward in certain instances. And so just know that your journey is your journey alone, and that everybody's journey in this business is going to be different. Okay. And so you just have to accept that. Lesson number 4, planning beats speed all day, every day. I had to say that like that. Publishing books fast is not going to help you build great income. It's just not. What I had to learn is that I needed to start publishing with intention. Okay. I needed to start planning things out. And I have to give a shout out to Ben from Money on the Side on this, because he was one of the first people that I really kind of heard that talked about the key to his business was organization. And I can tell you that when I first started in KDP, I was not the most organized person. I just put things out there. If it felt good, I just did it. I wasn't keeping up with things. I didn't have a referral or a reference point for things. I was all over the place. And so tools that were as simple as Google Sheets and having a tracker and having different things in place like that really did change the game for me. And so once I started putting tools and systems and basically systems in place, I started thinking about, okay, who is the audience that I'm going to be targeting? What books am I going to be publishing? What role is this book going to play in the product line that I'm creating? What is the next book that I'm going to be launching? And then documenting that and having a system around that. It really did help me do and fare a lot better in the business. So again, planning is key, and it is going to beat speed every day of the week. Okay, so lesson number 5 is more books doesn't always mean more money. Right? So I can tell you, you guys probably saw on the previous screenshot that I have over 600 and something books. Not all of them are published. A lot of them have been unpublished. But I've had to learn is that the biggest income jumps for me did not come from publishing more books. They came from creating better books that work together as a product line. Okay, this is key. There's a lot of books that I have right now in my catalog that don't make any sales. Okay, and so this is something that you want to remember. Like, yes, there is a certain thing as having a quantity of books that you want to have out there for KDP, especially for lower content books. But just because you've published 1,000 books does not mean that you're going to be making $1,000. Okay, so I just want to say that. In fact, I think I have probably about a good 200 or 300-ish books that are lower kind of medium content books that I published. But I can show you guys, and I'll show you in the next video, is that the majority of the money that I made specifically in Q4, that they came from a handful of books. They didn't come from every book, because every book is not going to make money. So again, more books doesn't always mean more money. You want to make sure that you have a great brand and a product line that you can sell with connected books that work together, that people can buy more of from you, versus just kind of scatter books here and there. Okay. And that's something that I've learned, and it has definitely taken me further than publishing all these sporadic kind of books. All right, so lesson number 6 is publishing is a long game. And I wish people would really understand this. I know that you guys probably see all these videos where people are flashing, that they're making all this money and all these other kind of things. But I can tell you, as someone who's been in the game for a number of years now, is that every book that I've published, the ones that have eventually taken off to do well, that they didn't start that way. They weren't viral. They didn't have like this mega, super, uber successful launch. It took time for them to get off the ground. And it took time for me to start seeing the compound effects of publishing books and publishing things in a product line. So, one of my best sellers, for example, is a coloring book. And I published that book way back in 2000, I think in 20-ish or 21 or 22-ish. But it took time for me to build the reviews. It took time for me to go through and to make the necessary adjustments. So you just need to know that it takes time for books to take off. And again, publishing is a long game, and it's going to take time for things to build. Okay. But once it starts to build, the rewards are great. It really can be great. All right. So lesson number 7 is building a brand will take you further than just publishing scattered books. Disconnected books can equal disconnected income. And so when you start publishing books, and this has been one of the biggest game changers for me, is that once I really started thinking in terms of book brands and building product lines and building a series that people can buy more of from me, then everything really started to make more sense. And then I started to see more success with that, because one reader will come in, they will buy one book, and they'll make multiple purchases from me. And that is definitely where you can see more stability from that versus just a book here, a book there, random book here, book over here, book there, da 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 da, etc., etc. Okay. So that is just something that you want to remember, is to definitely get those brands out there and start thinking in terms of building a brand for stability versus just kind of the one-off book. Okay, so lesson number 8 is data over feelings, aka facts over feelings. Listen, there's been plenty of books that I wanted to publish because I felt that they would be good to publish, or I thought that it would be a great idea, but that doesn't mean that these are books that people want. So you can feel the way that you want to, but people are online, they're on Amazon specifically looking for specific things that help them address a specific need and a specific problem. So I think a lot of people get this twisted. A lot of people go into publishing thinking, about themselves and not looking and doing the research and maybe using ads when they launch a book to find out what people are looking for and to get the data behind what it is that people actually want. Okay. So something to remember. You can feel the way you want to feel, but data is going to tell the truth, and it's going to reign supreme over feelings all day. And so again, one of the things that I like to use to get data, definitive data, to let me know if I'm on the right track or what people are looking for, is going to be Amazon ads. You can pick up a lot of data from running Amazon ads to your books. Okay. So again, data over feelings. Lesson number 9, if something works, double down on it. I hear so many people say, oh, I've had a few sales. I published one book and I got one sale. Well, listen, if you got one sale, a sale is confirmation that people are looking for what it is that you are publishing. So the best thing that you can do is to double down and even triple down on things that are already working. So instead of trying to start over when you publish a book and you've gotten a sale and chasing a new idea, just think about, okay, how can I expand this? How can I improve this book? How can I build around this book? All right. So that is something that you definitely want to consider, right? Double down on what works. And then lesson number 10 is, I'm glad that I did not quit. Guys, it's been many of times that I wanted to quit. Many days I wanted to quit, throw in the towel, frustrated, had a book, launched it, didn't work, had to go back, fix the cover, blah, 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 blah. It's just a part of being in business. But one of the things that happened to me, which you guys may or may not know, was that after I was laid off, it lit a fire in me to say, okay, I really need to really stick this out and try to get this to work. And even before that, because I've always been of the mindset is that you do need to have something for yourself. You need to have a plan in place just in case something doesn't work out, especially with corporate America and how things are going. And so for me, I'm so fortunate and blessed that I stuck it out. I'm so fortunate that publishing has become, one of my favorite things to do. And I'm more fortunate and blessed that it has become something that has helped me to create a really great income stream, okay, in my life, all right, and a business that I've enjoyed building now. So that pretty much wraps up the top 10 biggest lessons that I've learned in publishing in 2025. So now, if you are thinking about publishing or starting with KDP, I would love to know in the comments, which one of these lessons hit the hardest for you? And what are your goals for 2026? So I would love to know in the comments, drop below, let me know. And then also remember, in my next video, I'm going to be breaking down my Q4 earnings and what happened to move the needle in my business and what didn't. All right. So I look forward to sharing that video with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And again, comment below, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys around. Okay. Cheers and bye.